Hey guys, Omogonix here and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about Halo Combat Evolved since it is 20 years old this year, and I'd like to discuss whether or not it has aged well over the years. I will mainly be referring to Halo CE on MCC for this video, since that is the most up-to-date and available version of Halo CE. Plus, not much has really changed over the years other than resolution enhancements, optional remastered graphics, and higher frame rates. Also maybe a few gameplay tweaks here and there, but I don't 100% know. So recently I decided that I'd play through Halo CE again to feel more prepared for Halo Infinite, and so I started a new playthrough on MCC. I was going to play through the other campaigns as well, but honestly I've played and finished the others again quite recently. All I really need to play again is Halo 5. So anyways, whilst playing Halo CE, I got the idea to make this video, and so I decided to keep extra focus on everything and gather some thoughts on how Halo CE holds up as it is today in its current form. So how well does Halo CE hold up in 2021? Well, first let's talk about the most important aspect in my opinion, the gameplay. Halo CE's gameplay does not feel dated at all in my opinion. You can maneuver around pretty well in combat and the movement is quite smooth. There's honestly nothing off at all about Halo CE's gameplay, nothing that makes me think, wow, this game's old. Of course, in a lot of newer shooters nowadays, there's a lot more ways in which a player can move now, like there's clambering, sliding, sprinting, plus many other mechanics that enhance mobility or give more movement options. But Halo CE, the way it is, feels completely fine. And trust me, Halo CE having stuff like that would be quite cursed and wouldn't fit the style of the game at all, so I'm glad 343 has kept it original over the years. The combat in Halo CE feels very fun still too. In fact, I'd have to argue that Halo CE's combat is still one of the funnest experiences in the franchise, just because of the amount of enemies that are getting thrown at you, the crazy amount of explosions that happen, and the at time endless waves of flood. It can get pretty chaotic and it's very fun and annoying at the same time. The weapons are still great to use and nothing feels off really. The only thing that I would consider dated in Halo CE when it comes to the weapons is that some of them lack the ability to scope, but honestly I've never really found myself having to scope in Halo CE unless I'm using a sniper rifle or magnum sometimes. Oh, and the Needler isn't that perfect either. I mean, I like it, but something about it does feel a bit dated. The plasma pistol and plasma rifle are still great and I love the feeling of mowing down a bunch of flood with them. Same goes with the shotgun too. As we all know, it's the ultimate weapon to use against a flood, and it is still very satisfying to use. All the weapons are quite satisfying to use. Another good example being the CE Magnum, which is probably the most OP pistol in any Halo game, and an international treasure as well. The grenades in Halo CE still feel very good too. It's always been a habit of mine to spam grenades whenever I get my hands on them, and it's a habit of mine that's first ever started with Halo. As I said earlier, Halo CE tends to get pretty explosive at times, which can be fun and annoying. It's only annoying though if you're getting damaged by it, but watching a whole explosive domino effect unfold in front of me can be pretty great and epic. Halo CE is definitely still a very fun game honestly. Also the AI still feels pretty okay too. Sure, it's definitely not as advanced as other AI in games nowadays, but still it functions well, and nothing feels really off honestly. Nothing that makes me think, wow, this game's old. Like, you can tell it's old, but, you know, it's not terrible. In fact, I feel like whilst the future Halo games have improved heaps on their AI, they still do have the same feeling as Halo CE's AI. I guess you could just say it's a very Halo-y feeling that the AI in every Halo game has. So whilst it does improve over the years, it doesn't stop feeling like Halo, which is, I guess, why Halo CE's AI still feels pretty good to this day, since it's the foundation for everything after all. If there's one thing I will say is quite dated for Halo standards today, it's the Marines not being able to drive vehicles. Oh, and speaking of vehicles, let's talk about them. The vehicles in Halo CE that we're able to drive still feel pretty good to this day. I remember I used to have problems with the Banshee actually, but I've gotten more used to it now, and I somewhat prefer the way this Banshee drives compared to how it does in other Halo games. It feels like how a Banshee should feel in my opinion. The Warthog is still quite fun to drive in Halo CE. It honestly never gets boring, especially when you have Marines with you. Also, you know something I miss? Being able to see your passengers' health in vehicles. Honestly, I really wish this was in other games too. I love how the Marines felt like such an integral part of Halo CE. I mean, there was a whole mission dedicated to saving them after all. Hopefully Infinite can pull off that feel as well. The Scorpion and Ghost are still quite good too. I miss the extra turret on the Scorpion. All the vehicles honestly still feel pretty good for today's standard. I can't think of another FPS that has as good functioning vehicles as the ones from Halo. Even CE's vehicles feel acceptable still. It sucks how we never got to drive the Wraith in CE, but that was probably by design or limitations. Next I'd like to talk about the visuals. So by visuals I mean things like the graphics, art style, environments, models, all that sort of stuff that we can see. Halo CE when using its classic mode will look dated to any new player wanting to check out the game, and so they'll probably go for the remastered visuals over the classic. But I don't know for sure since I mainly use classic visuals and that's what I started playing with in the first place back when I was younger. In my opinion, I think the classic visuals still do look acceptable to this day if you look at it from an art perspective. In fact, from an art perspective, I think the the classic visuals are a lot better. And I really wish 343 when doing the remastered visuals actually stuck to Halo CE's original art style, since I think then the remastered visuals would be a lot more appealing to me. I mean, look at what Rockstar Games have done with the GTA Remastered trilogy, for example. Like, they've remastered the three games, GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas, but what they've done is they've stuck to the art style, so whilst it still looks cartoony, it is definitely a lot more upgraded and it looks a lot more better. I really wish Halo CE would have done this as well. That would have actually been quite a good idea. So with the remastered visuals, it seems like they've just changed almost every aspect of Halo CE and made it either more Halo Reach-like or just very overly detailed. For a lot of players though, they probably prefer the remastered visuals, and that's understandable as newer people coming to Halo probably wouldn't be too used to it. But for me personally, I prefer the classic visuals, and like I said earlier on in this video, with the resolution enhancements and frame rate enhancements made to Halo CE on MCC, it makes the classic visuals a lot more acceptable, and from an art perspective, I prefer them. And I bet a lot more people do as well. The environments in Halo CE still hold up to this day in my opinion. The design and structure of some of the mission play areas is very memorable, and they're still fun to play in to this day. Pretty much all the missions in Halo CE have memorable environments such as the Pillar of Autumn, the mission Halo, Truth and Reconciliation, the Silent Cartographer, and pretty much all the rest of the missions are just as memorable in terms of their environments. I would say that CE's environmental designs have aged well. So anyways guys, that is the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more. Also don't forget to turn on notifications, as I know that most of you probably aren't subscribed. Also, what are your thoughts on Halo CE 20 years later? Do you still think it still holds up as an older or newer player? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.